Good morning, Armor Down. Welcome to the last introductory training session to the Four Bells. I will do my best not to talk too much and get to more practice, but I just want to point out kind of where we've come. So we've come over these past 4 weeks into a place where we're kind of, hopefully, looking at the mind not as this passive thing that sits in our skull, but as this active participant that's kind of framing and predicting and shaping and kind of influencing how we perceive reality, how reality even shows up for us. And then we've talked about what to do about that, having agency in the process through the practice of mindfulness, beginning the practice of mindfulness by taming the mind. From taming the mind, we've moved into training the mind. You notice that we are the ones doing it. So if we're training our mind and taming our mind, then we're not our mind. We have a mind to train, to tame. And then from there, we go into the awareness of the breath experience, the space that the breath takes up, the internal space, interoception, noticing the sensation of the breath, the training ground of awareness of the emotions, noticing the different qualities of the experience. If you can notice the qualities of the experience of the breath, you can start to notice and pick up on and be aware of the experience of emotions themselves as they're happening. So instead of being taken over by emotion, or like bell one or bell two, being taken over by a thought process, there's awareness, there's agency, there's choice. Okay. And so now we're coming into fourth bell, and we talked about fourth bell as the ultimate goal, right? The ultimate goal is to get to the thing that is the most powerful aspect of what we really are. That's the heart. Now, I'm not going to get into why, the heart is the way it is, but just know that it is the way it is, and it's been used that way by all the most kind of influential people, going back to the Buddha, Jesus. I mean, these are the heroes of the human experience, telling us that there are aspects to being alive that we can pay attention to and participate in, and it will have profound influences on our lives. So that's where we've come in these past 4 weeks, these 4 chunks of learning the 4 bells. And so today we're going to put it all together into one practice. All right. So go ahead and get yourself 1 to 2% more comfortable. And then kind of put your brain in check. Come into the present moment. Notice what's going on around you. Notice what your body's doing. And then abstract the experience by asking your mind, okay, what is the opposite of what I'm doing right now? So I'm sitting, so the opposite is standing. What's the opposite of how my mind is operating right now? The opposite of kind of quiet and focused is kind of frantic and hassled. What's the opposite of where my heart is right now? Just kind of quiet. The opposite's anger, rage. And I'll kind of hold these two realities in your awareness at the same time, and kind of look down on them. Kind of imagine you're looking down on this capacity to abstract your experience, to take your experience away from the present moment and into some kind of mental construct. So let's start there. Let's start with the actual skill of kind of working with the mind. Okay. Giving the mind its respect, so to speak. All right. Now let's tame it. Let's really tame it further. Let's go to first bell. So start with the eyes. Look around where you're at and start picking out the relationship between light and shadow. Typically, you're not noticing or putting much attention on light and shadow. You're just taking in the room. But this time, take the time to just notice how every single thing has this light and shadow element. Everything. Once you kind of looked around and noticed how there's things there that you didn't see before, go ahead and shut the eyes down, close the eyes, or lower the gaze and come into hearing. Notice areas of silence. Notice areas of sound. Remember, curiosity tames the mind. So you can have the mind kind of be jumping around here and let it. All right, mind, what do you hear? Maybe you can pick out something in particular, like, oh, there's the sound of a truck going by a road. And I can hear it moving. Remember, all your senses are taking place in the present moment. Challenge your mind to find more sensation, find more sound. Now, you've assessed your visual field, you've assessed your sound field. And now just notice how your assessment of that sight and sound, the spaces outside and around you, are relatively predictable. It's okay to come closer in, to kind of move your attention away from the outside and get a little bit closer. So get a little bit closer and notice the sensations on your skin, the sensations of your clothing, the sensation of anything you're touching with your hands and your fingertips. A feeling of temperature. Maybe you can notice multiple temperatures, areas that are cooler, areas that are warmer. Now let's come to the sense of smell. Okay, so now we're going kind of inside, the internal senses. The smells have to come in before you can perceive them. Sight and sound are outside you, touch outside you. Now come inside with your sense of smell. Put your attention, your curiosity right at your nostrils. And as you breathe in, search for smell. Go slow, breathe in slow. Notice how there's probably little hints of smell that you just didn't notice before. They were there, but you didn't notice them. And maybe there's like 2% smell and the rest is just empty air. Notice what that smells like. Notice that the quality of empty air, air without smell, has its own quality. Now come to the sensations in the mouth. So now we're inside the body, sensations in the mouth. Maybe there's taste, maybe there's not. Maybe there's just moisture, or maybe there's the feeling of the teeth or the lips or the back of the tongue or the top of the throat. Feel the saliva. It's taming the mind, okay? So now we're going to go to bell 2 to train the mind, all right? So to train the mind, we go into the body, the muscles, the bones. So start with your ground. So push down against the ground. If you're crisscross applesauce, you're pushing against the sides of the ankles. If you're seated and your feet are flat on the ground, just push down, but push down to feel muscle activation. Feel the sensation of the muscles engaging in different ways. Maybe you feel your buttocks engaged, the backs of the legs, the sides of the legs. Feel that engagement. Feel how you might even lift when those muscles are engaged, kind of pressing away from the ground. Notice how the ground stays still, but you move against it. Feel that effort, that work, and then just let it go, but let it go slowly and see if you can feel those muscles slowly release and feel your body kind of settle back down to this kind of neutral, not pushing down, not no effort. So now pelvis. So now what I want you to do is I want you to tilt to your right. Tilt, and feel the pull of off balance. Feel where you feel the pull of off balance. And then slowly make your way back to the middle. And then cross the center line over to the left. Feel off balance. Notice the sensation of feeling off balance. And then come back to the middle and juxtapose the middle to off balance. So in the middle, there's not any effort, or I should say there's less effort. Off balance, you got to kind of hold yourself up. If you're aligned with gravity, your body, your structure is holding you up. So from the base, the pelvis, move up to the core. So let's interact with the core, give it some substance, give it some feel. So first, just push your belly button out. Push the belly button out and feel what happens when you push your belly button out. Release it. Pull the belly button in. Pull in. Feel what happens when you pull in. You can probably feel the fabric of clothing against skin. You can feel the muscles. Maybe you feel your guts moving around. Pull in, then release that. Now, this time I want you to kind of pull up. Pull in and up. Pull in and up. Feel what happens when you pull in and up in the core. Release. Now, let your core be soft. Let your core be without effort. And then lift your torso. So, or I should say, lift your rib cage. If you lift your rib cage without engaging your core muscles, you might find some length in your core, and you should feel a little bit of lift in the rib cage. Now, you don't want to tilt back. You don't want to lift just the front of the rib cage. You want to lift the whole rib cage, kind of like the way an umbrella opens. The all around, it's symmetrical, kind of lift. Now, once you've lifted the rib cage, feeling the kind of length in the core, engage in the muscles around the rib cage by squeezing your elbows just a little bit. Just squeeze your elbows into your sides. Notice what happens when you squeeze your elbows into your sides. What muscles engage? And then slowly let those muscles turn off. Now move around in the shoulders, the shoulder blades. So pull the shoulder blades back and together. Feel that sensation of pulling back and together. See what happens in the front of the body when you do that. Now do the opposite of that. Round the shoulders forward. Feel the back. Try not to tilt the ribs forward. Don't drop your heart. Just move the shoulder blades. Move the shoulder blades away, round the shoulders in. Now find the middle. When you're training the mind, you're training the mind to interact with these subtle sensations. So much of our warrior experience is ignoring the subtle, allowing for the intense to be our driver. So intense sensation is monitored, but the subtle is kind of the means to the end, right? So instead, we're kind of training the mind to notice the subtle, notice the soft, notice the little turning ons and turning offs that take place all the time. Again, without our attention, we're not attuned to it. We haven't trained our minds to notice it. So now come to the throat space. Simple layers here. Let the jaw relax. And now just take a swallow. Feel the musculature inside the throat do the swallow. Anybody can feel that. But now see if you can feel the breath moving in the throat. See if you can feel air moving up and down. Now the last little curiosity is see if you can feel air moving down and the air moving up, and see if you can tell a temperature difference. So the air inside you is going to probably be a different temperature than the air outside of you. So you might feel a sensation of the air coming in a different way than you feel the sensation of the air going out. Now let's finish up at the head, top of the head, top of the spine. Again, go back to this tilt, but this time tilt forward. So tilt the head forward, not just the head, but tilt the whole spine forward. And feel how leaning forward has its own quality, its own feeling, a feeling of you've got a kind of effort to keep it there. Now slowly start to lean back, go through center, lean back, and feel how muscles have to turn on to keep you from falling backwards. Imagine if this was neutral. This is so much effort. Now come back to the middle and notice how the middle doesn't require effort. Might require a little bit, but you're aligned with gravity as opposed to having it pulling against you. And so the effort required to sit in an upright and alert posture doesn't cost that much work. So now come to the face. Notice the muscles of the forehead. So just engage the forehead, feel the muscles, let them go. Engage your eyebrows, feel your eyebrows moving in any kind of way you want, maybe lifting your eyebrows. Relax that. Feel your eyeballs and your eye sockets. Move your eyes left and right, up and down, kind of quick. Notice the work that's required to do that, and then let go of the eyeballs and even soften the muscles behind the eyeballs. Now, kind of squinch up your nose, move your mouth around, move your lips around, feel the muscles of the face there, and then let that go. And now just rest for a second at the end of second bell, feeling the body aligned, alert, and relaxed. Moving into third bell. Feel your breathing. Don't try to change your breathing. Just feel your breathing. What does it mean to feel your breathing? Start with just noticing where you feel your breathing, its location. So just notice the location of where you feel the breath moving in your body. Now notice the breath's intensity. Is it quick and sharp, or is it just kind of this gentle inhale, exhale? It's two qualities of interoception that you just noticed. So first, location, and then intensity. Next, notice how deep your breathing is. Do you feel your whole body breathing, or is it just kind of shallow? And by shallow, I don't mean bad. Just it's little. It's your body's still. There's not a lot going on, so your breath doesn't need to be deep or big. It just notice how deep your breath is. The third quality. Now notice direction. Is your breath moving up and down? Is it moving left and right? Is it moving forward and backward? You can interocept all these feelings. Now think of the size. If your breath was an orb, how big is that orb? Is the orb the size of, like a ping pong ball? Or is it the size of a tennis ball? Or is it the size of a volleyball? How big is your breath right now? The expansion, how much does your breath expand? How far, where, how big? And that expansion disappearing as you repeat the process. The inhale expands, the exhale condense. Now let's change it. Let's exert agency over the breath. So let's start with size. Make the breath 50% bigger than what it currently is. Just 50%. Now, go to 100%. Make your breath as big as you possibly can make it. Now go back to 50%. Go back to 100%. Now let your breath be normal again. See if you can interocept the feeling of the expansion, the leftover feeling. When you go back to that regular breath, you kind of notice that there's all this other potential for a bigger breath, but you're back at this little breath. There's so much to feel. There's leftover feelings. There's just a lot in there. And chances are, if you've not practiced mindfulness, you're not aware of this and you're not attuned to its reality for you. Let's go direction. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to visualize in your mind your sides moving. I want you to think about your sides moving. Then I want you to breathe to your sides. So visualize sides, breathe sides, feel sides. Visualize sides, breathe sides, feel sides. Now let's take the direction down. Down, visualize the breath traveling down, and you might even feel the belly expanding to account for the breath traveling down. Now let's add sides, direction down, and size. Size, direction down, size. Okay? So make your breath as big as you can, but while you're doing it, feel down and feel the sides. See if you can notice that when you do that, the experience of the size of the breath, the depth of the breath, the direction of the breath changes. You can actually breathe deeper than you did before. Notice how your agency, your interaction can dictate the feeling itself. You can change the feeling inside. One more round. Take it all the way down. Change the feeling inside. Now let the body and the breath come back to its normal pattern. And see if you notice any difference in the way it feels inside your body. See if you can interocept any feelings that are there now that maybe weren't there before, a quality to the normal breath experience that's kind of got some unique characteristics after we've done all this work with the breath. Be curious, and then we'll move into fourth bell. So, what I want you to do is repeat these three phrases after me with your inner voice. So, the inner voice inside your head, inside your body, repeat these phrases after me. May I be at peace with my mind. May I be at peace with my body. May I be at peace with my heart. May I be at peace with my mind. May I be at peace with my body. May I be at peace with my heart. You can go as fast or as slow as you want, but just keep repeating those phrases. May I be at peace with my mind. May I be at peace with my body. May I be at peace with my heart. Now we're going to shift the focus from the self to the other. So we're going to change the language from may I to may you. And so here's an opportunity to think about an other, visualize, but try not to think about the person or think about the other as a memory or some kind of projection, but think about sending the other the peace. So repeat after me with your inner voice. May you be at peace with your mind. May you be at peace with your body. May you be at peace with your heart. So just repeat that phrase with the word you. And think of your energy, your goodwill moving out. May you be at peace with your mind. May you be at peace with your body. May you be at peace with your heart. Now we're going to make the shift to we. May we. And so there's an envelopment of us all. We're now one. There's the I, there's the you, and now there's the we. So repeat with your inner voice. May we be at peace with our minds. May we be at peace with our bodies. May we be at peace with our hearts. May we be at peace with our minds. May we be at peace with our bodies. May we be at peace with our hearts. Be intentional about the end of the practice by finishing with 2 rounds of full inhale and exhale. Second exhale brings the practice to a close. That's 4 bells right there. That is 4 bells. So just, I mean, the question that you've got to start asking yourself is like, okay, so if I'm training my mind, if I'm taming my mind, if I can really develop agency a little bit over my emotions and how they show up, if I can send whatever's showing up through the heart and become more open-hearted, what does that mean? Like, so what am I? I'm not my mind, I'm not my body, I'm not my emotions, and I've got this heart that's got the power to change emotions into love, patience, and compassion. What does that mean? I don't have an answer for you, but I encourage you to ask a question. I ask a question all the time, and I try to live the question with the practice. And it is a practice. I've been practicing for 10 years in a, well, I don't know, 10 years, almost 10 years. And the experience keeps evolving in really satisfying and unique and interesting ways. So I hope you continue the practice. I hope you continue to practice with Armor Down. But this will conclude the kind of introduction to the 4 bells. So thank you for sticking with me all the way through it. Big thank you to Adam Kennedy for turning kind of this basic setup into a professional production. Thank you, my friend. And with that, we will see you on the cushion next week. Later, Armor Down.